plans to return to New Mexico. Plans to return. Right appear. Jones.
Episode 98.
Ma'am.
Jones. Plans to return to New Mexico. Plans to return to New Mexico.
I agree with that.
Carl's in your cap.
Ma'am.
Jones.
All right. Bring in the plan.
Plans to return to New
She can be ferocious or gentle as a lamb. Let's meet the Jones matriarch. I
I call her mom.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a family program, at least tonight. Okay, I hope that the syncing is good, but I'm not going to wait around because I'm just too excited to bring on the real star of the night. I'm not telling tales, and I ain't bragging, but if he had the time, he'd be storming this desert in his covered wagon. And also, if it were the 1800s. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Pepito! Go Pepito! Go Pepito!
They're touching the dog.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Sort your eyes awake like a claws.
Oh, that was cool. I heard the announcement that Soy Teresa went like applause, and that's pretty tight. But what's even tighter, what would really thrill me and make the week worthwhile is to ask and hear a response from Pepito. How are you?
Oh, God.
Excellent. Beautiful. Ooh, that was nice. What was that? That was just
It was
did
me.
did you just write that? Is that a
Oh,
Pepito
yeah.
original?
A new composition. It's called Episode 98.
Nice.
Battles.
I do enjoy it. Welcome. It's great to have Dark Farts back here. It felt strange that she wasn't here for the dramatic conclusion to the mayoral race of the rulership over Phoenix, which is now back. I hope that. Ooh, what's this? Oh, this is your the debate photo. Classic.
Yes. Or the you and Binks at it again.
I know. But I am. We should have live streamed my concession speech, but rest assured, everybody, that it was very diplomatic and there are no hard feelings. I am happy to serve as vice mayor under the leadership of the great Binks. Yeah, absolutely. Pepito, I'm excited to talk about Ma'am Jones. I know you read some stuff about her as well.
Very, very little, because I like leave it all up to you.
Yeah, that's the fun. I like
Yeah.
bringing the scoop. And well, hang on. I do have what?
I just love that. The scoop.
Yeah, exactly. We do deliver the scoops. I have one more button. This is completely off topic, and this is fine for me to do. but this will really put me in the right headspace to talk about the great history of our city. Let me just hit this button. Oh wait.
Oh
that one.
dear.
Yeah, I've got that as a button now, so I can drop that whenever I please. Nothing can really
Oh.
stop me.
Shit got too real.
Absolutely. But with that being said, there's only one thing left to do.
Start the. If I was in the chat, I would be saying start the show.
I know you
So,
would.
Start
Absolutely.
the show.
Okay. Alright, boots off. Hang on, let me unlace. Come on, everybody. Unlace. Boom.
Oh,
I'm wearing the
yes.
classics. I need to get some new custom Caveman News shoes. That's on my agenda to get those. Thank you for saluting the shoes. And let's do a quick check-in really quick.
Oh.
All right. Is feeling very solemn. Whoa, not that. There. That's more like it. Boots off and soap in your mouth.
So much in the chat.
Yes, this is we're doing no cussing tonight in honor of Ma'am Jones because she was a true, strong Christian woman. And I remember first hearing about Ma'am Jones. I believe, much like Phoenix, I found out about it from Brittany. I don't know, what is her title?
Oh. Skateologist.
Yeah, she's a skateologist, but I can't even remember what she is in the credits. Hang on. Dark Fart sneezed and missed the Cobra Cam. Well, that just won't
Yeah,
do.
you always go through that quick.
Well, there he is. In his deep meditation. But yes, I can't
Aw.
remember exactly. I think she might be in the credits as the staff advice expert, but I think that has every time we've tried to get her on to answer some advice questions, she's been too busy. So I don't think she's actually made her debut giving advice, but I do believe that's her title. Anyway, I think she's the one who told me about Ma'am Jones, and I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is a local strong woman from Carlsbad history that I have no idea about." And I remember we were supposed to do this episode at the end of September, but then we had the producers strike, and we had to do an episode. Rusty over here demanded that we do an episode about labor strikes here in Carlsbad, and I loved that. That was very fun. And then we got sucked into the spooky. Wait, what's it called? The Spooky Month Spectacular? Is that what the official name was? I believe. Anyway, this got delayed. And one of the reasons I was reticent about doing a Ma'am Jones episode is I looked into it, and one of the first things I saw was about Ma'am Jones. She was a tough woman, and she ran off Native Americans with her shotgun. And I was like, oof. I mean, I guess that's appealing to some people, but I don't know, that didn't really click with me as something to be proud of, you know?
I do.
Yeah, it was kind of like, ugh, I don't know, is that really somebody I want to praise and give big ups to and stuff like that, right?
just victims of the times, circumstances.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, is she gonna be like some crazy, colonizer, vicious woman? But then I finally started learning about her, and I found out people had it all wrong. The people who said that, and she was actually a very admirable woman, and somebody that I'm glad to discuss with tonight. To discuss with you about, with everybody. And we should get right into it. Let's go back in time. I should start off by saying that a lot of the research that we do on Caveman News comes from the current Argus archives. We scour through the newspapers, we find stuff, and there was plenty of information about Ma'am Jones in the newspaper. But one
Knock
of the
that
first
shit off. Let's get this started.
Sort your eyes a went like start the show.
This is the
Whoa.
show. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to start the show. I'm trying to lay the groundwork and let you know that one of the first articles I saw that mentioned Ma'am Jones said that there was a book written by her, or not by her, about her, and I decided to do my research about the story of Ma'am Jones from the author Eve Ball and the book she wrote, because she got right into it. Ma'am Jones had, I believe, all told 9 children, and Eve Ball wrote this book in 1969, and Ma'am Jones came to the southeastern New Mexico area in the 1860s, and in 1969, when Eve Ball wrote this book, she was able to interview multiple children of Ma'am Jones that were still living and get, as close as you can get in 1969 to the straight story from the source. These are people who were raised by Ma'am Jones. And, I guess if you're not going to be able to interview Ma'am Jones herself, these were her sources were the children and also the people who lived in the area at the time who knew her. And it's a very great book. I highly recommend it. But that is where I learned a lot about. It is a cute book cover,
Traditions.
and people in the chat are pointing out the pronunciation that the robot said "soy choriza." That's pretty funny. But anyway, Ma'am Jones, her and her husband, High School, I believe that's the pronunciation. Heiskell. What do you think? High School? I think it's High School. High School. Yeah, I don't know about that, but High School, I would say. High
I knew this guy at high school.
Oh my gosh. I wonder what high school was like in high school. Oof. Anyway, it's the 1860s, and High School and Ma'am Jones flee from Virginia because the Civil War had been going on, and High School specifically said they wanted him to fight on both sides of the army, really. And High School said, I just don't want to go around killing people. I'm not into the Civil War, and I'm gonna get out of here. So High School and Ma'am, her real name is Barbara. We'll get into her naming, but her name is Barbara Jones, better known as Ma'am. They leave Virginia, and they move at first to Iowa, but Ma'am says, nah, it's too cold here. And I agree. As somebody who has spent a few years in Iowa, it is cold there, and it sucks.
Oh,
it's
man.
not...
What now?
What? Uh-oh. Pepito? You disappeared? That's very strange. Oh, you're back. Are you there? Can you hear me?
What happened?
Oh my gosh. Pepito is experiencing difficulties, and that's very bad. But I'm just gonna keep
Hello?
things. Are you there?
What
I'm gonna
happened?
assume you're not. I'm gonna keep things going. So they're in Iowa. It sucks. It's bad. It's cold, and they moved to Denver. You know, it's Denver. What can you do? Darkfart says, "Is it the solar storm?" Could be, Pepito. Uh, Pepito, if you want to call me, I can hold my phone up to the the thing, the microphone. Okay, okay. Uh anyway, I got my phone here if you need to call into the show. But they moved to Denver, and as can be expected, Denver's not that great. So they follow the Pecos River and they head down to southeastern New Mexico. Yeah, maybe the CMI is past the Earth and the energy is decreasing. Who knows? I'm kind of flustered with Pepito not being here. But anyway, they follow the Pecos River down, and they decide to settle in Hondo, which is a few miles west of Roswell. Ugh, nasty. But they set up a chosa there in Hondo, and they have their two children, their two sons, John and Jim. And they're kind of the first settlers in the area, and they make friends with the local chosa. Absolutely. They make friends with the local... This is really tripping me up, not having Pepito here. I should do this. I should move this and keep an eye on... let me see, what is going on? I don't know how to do it. Anyway, we're just gonna keep things moving. I'm gonna go back to the half screen in case Pepito pops in. Hopefully he does. But anyway, so yeah, they settle in Hondo and they build their chosa, their little shack, and they're there with their children, John and Jim. John's the eldest. Jim is the second eldest. The youngerest, I guess, because they're only two kids at the time. And they're living a good life. They're learning how to live off of the land. And the other people in the area, there are a lot of Apache natives. It was their land. And there were also, within years, a lot of people started coming to settle in the area. There were a lot of people from Mexico, and they had their... Gosh, I'm so thrown off by Pepito not being here. And chosa. Yeah, I like it too. Anyway, one day they are hanging out in their chosa, and they hear the sound of a lot of trampling, and then they see some buzzards in the sky. So they head out to find out what's going on, and they look for where the buzzards are circling. They're not lighting, they're not coming down. They're just circling, and they go to the source, and they find a Apache native who was wounded. He had fallen off a horse and he had broken his leg, and he was there and Barbara Mam Jones and her son John went and they started trying to see what was going on. And when they approached, the Apache man held out a knife and he dropped it on the ground in front of them. He was, that's kind of showing your belly. He was resigning himself to his fate. And they picked up the knife and kind of just set it aside and went about helping him. Mam went to go get bandages, and John cut some, like, a tree. I guess it wasn't a full tree, but, a piece of wood, and made him a splint. And Mam returned and started bandaging up his leg and made it, immobilized it, and made this man a crutch. And he was very grateful. And he could not speak English, and they couldn't speak his language, Mescalero Apache. And so he said to them, he pointed at himself and he said Migo. And they said, okay. They called him Migo. And they helped him out. He hung around for a while as he mended himself. And he became kind of a friend of the family. And sorry, I have a bunch of notes. I need to see where Pepito is. I am so distracted by Pepito not being here. Oh, wait, I see him. Okay, hang on. Oh, and then he went away. He left again. Alright, this is bizarre. Oh, he is gone completely. Okay. I'm lost. Now, okay. I should turn on my lights a little bit because I'm having trouble reading all my notes. I read this, I've been reading this Mam Jones book. It's huge. There's so many great stories to be told. And anyway, eventually what happens is the family moves to they move down. Oh wait, here. This is how I tell the story. Eventually they see on the horizon a huge cloud of dust, and people had told them to keep an eye out for huge clouds of dust on the horizon, because that means that the buffalo are stampeding. And so they knew that this was something to look out for. And eventually they see it. They see the okay, hang on. I think Pepito is back. I think I need to do this and come here. Alright, now I go here and I do this and I come here and let me drop Pepito back in because we need him here. Okay, no. Yeah, okay. That should do it. Alright. No.
Hello,
There he is.
1, 2.
Are you there?
Hello, I see you.
Okay, cool. Good. Great. Alright, so they see this cloud of dust on the horizon, and they're thinking, it's what we've been told. These are the bison, or the buffalo running through, and they want to go see what it is. So they head out to scope what's going on. Turns out it wasn't buffalo. It was a man. Ugh. And his name was Sam. I have the last name here. I don't know. No, sorry. That was not Sam. Sam comes up later. I'm telling you, this is like a... We've said it a million times on this show that we find these stories about Carlsbad, and they seem like they should be movies.
Cinderoni in the chat.
Yeah, Pepito
I
was on
saw that too,
he was
Tony.
on the Zia plane. He is the Rock, the anchor. I kind of got lost and distracted. Anyway,
I hated
me too, man. It was awful. Do you have any tales about the torment that you were just... Thank you for the food jet. 100%.
that's the Zia plane. enhanced
the
food
Zia
jet,
plane is the food jet? God, I
Yeah.
get it. That makes sense. Anyway, they head out, and it turns out to be a man by the name of Tom Bostwick. And he is driving cattle through the area, which is very unusual. It's still very sparsely populated. They don't run into a lot of people. And
Ooh.
thank you for
I'm
the
a fellow
food,
icy
Jet.
head myself.
What?
I love ices as well, so Teresa.
Absolutely. So Tom Bostwick, he's running these cattle, and he says, let me look at the numbers here. He started in Texas with 1,160 cattle, but then before he knew it, he had 2,500 cattle. And basically...
Oh, anyway, this number's...
Exactly. That's what I was expecting too, that he would lose his cattle. But no, his problem was he had too many cattle. Apparently what had happened was a lot of settlers had come to Texas and realized they couldn't cut it on the frontiers. They were weak-willed. They were not strong people, not like the Jones family. And so they would move back east, to Tennessee, to Missouri, to Kansas, wherever they came from, and they would abandon their cattle. And then the cattle would just be out there roaming, and they would see Tom Bostwick's cattle, being driven, and they'd be like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with those fools. And so, yeah, he goes from 1,160 cattle to 2,500 cattle. And he says...
That's so much.
I know. He says, actually, I have too many cattle. Would you want any? And the high school and Barbara are like, no, we don't want that. We're out here trying to grow our own food. We're doing, this agriculture stuff. We're gatherers. But John and Jim, the sons, they were enamored with cowboys and roping and all of that stuff, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a young boy, you don't want to be a farmer. You don't want any of that stuff. They very rightly so decided they wanted to get into the cattle game. So high school agrees. He's like, okay, the boys want to raise cattle. We're going to keep a few of these cattle. And, that's the way to go. And so, yeah, they're living in Hondo, and they have these cattle for a while. And Tom Bostwick also told high school that down at Fort Stockton, not too far from Carlsbad, there was... Yeah, there's a bunch of soldiers there, and they need food. That's like one of the things he was doing, is he was heading down there to sell them cattle and stuff. So high school starts raising these cattle, and he starts taking them to Fort Stockton, and he butchers the cattle, and he's not allowed to sell directly to the soldiers, but he is allowed to sell to the vendors that sell to the soldiers, which is
Oh, okay.
very weird, kind of weird loophole. Just let him
Money
do it.
dictates.
Cinderoni wanted to be a farmer when she was a young boy. That's hey, Cinderoni, you're special. I don't know. I do believe that you are unique in that way. I think a lot of us wanted to rope and ride steer and all of these things, right? Pepito, am I wrong? Is it just me?
No, you're not.
Okay. Yeah, whatever.
I miss my cowboy neighbor, Jim Bob.
Jim Bob. That's a good cowboy name.
Hell yeah, he was cool. He got bit by a rattlesnake.
Wait, hang on.
Cinderoni.
Brother Bing says you're pronouncing Hondo as Hondo. It's Hondo. Yeah, I don't know. It's Hondo.
Mayor B.
Mayor Binks. Salute to Mayor Binks. But anyway, so High School starts selling meat to the vendor that sells to the soldiers at Fort Stockton, and he's constantly going down there. He's leaving Ma'am and the boys to watch over the homestead, the Chosa. And also another thing that High School does is he starts giving out food. He gives out food to the Mexicans and the Apache that are in the area. He would, it was free. It was kind of like a soup kitchen type thing. And there were some, like when they first did it, Migo, who had become a family friend, the man that Ma'am healed up when he broke his leg, he became a family friend, and he hung out for, years and years with the family. And he warned High School that if you're down there, you're going to be giving out food. That could be dangerous, because who knows? People could be, there could be fights. It could be, it could be dangerous. What's up?
She's always cracking me up in the chat.
Who? How?
Cinderoni,
Okay.
she said, does anyone else's mom call it crop dusting if she farts in the aisles of Walmart?
Nasty.
Yeah, she walks.
That's gross.
My mom is too tight for that,
Nasty.
says Sweet Teresa.
No, Agnes would never. Okay. Anyway, so High School has this plan. He's going to be, handing out the meat to the Mexicans and the Apache down there. And Migo says, let me go with you when you do it. And pretend you don't know me. I'll just, blend in, I'll be the... Yeah, keeping eyes on everything. And as he suspected the first time they went, somebody tried to take 2 portions, and John stopped him and said, no, you're not allowed. And the guy bowed up. It almost became a fight, but it didn't. And they never really tried it again. Once John and High School stood their ground, they earned the respect. And it was beautiful. And then, my gosh, okay. And then eventually they decide to move. And High School hears about Picacho. You know Picacho, New Mexico?
Picacho Boulevard. It's pretty busy.
Where's that?
Picacho, as in Las Cruces Street.
Ah, Las
Isn't
Cruces.
that
That's what I was gonna
street that
say. Yeah. There's also the Picacho Grill, I believe. Or wait, I'm thinking of the Pecan Grill. Anyway, they move. Well, actually, first, high school goes and he finds the community there. There's like a town. There's people have really settled. This is all as the southeastern New Mexico is growing, and high school gets a home for the family, and he takes Ma'am Jones up there. He goes first and really establishes everything, and once again Ma'am Jones is left at the home waiting, but he comes back, he picks her up, he takes the boys and her up to Picacho, and when they get there, Ma'am Jones finds out that they have all these neighbors. There's people have made food for her. They're anticipating her arrival, and she cries because it's so beautiful. And they go into this new house, and high school asks her if she likes it, and of course, Ma'am Jones, she loves this place. And he points over to a cowhide hanging on the wall. He goes like that, opens it, and boom, there's another room. And once again, Ma'am Jones just starts crying, and she goes, "We're rich." And it was beautiful. They had a multiple room house now, and they're in this community. The people are bringing them food and all of this stuff, and Ma'am Jones becomes known for helping heal people. I mean, she healed Migo, and when she gets to Picacho and she starts socializing with her Mexican and Apache neighbors, she learns that amigo is the name for friend, and Migo the whole time had been saying, when he first introduced himself, he was saying, "I'm your friend," and they had just assumed his name was Migo, so that was
My name's Achu.
right, exactly, in Scotland. And it was such a beautiful thing. They had this life, and Ma'am started to become known for healing people. People would get sick, and they would come to Ma'am Jones for her healing. And somebody once asked high school when he was down at Fort Stockton, "How do you feel, living around all the Mexicans and stuff?" And he said, he had a good quote. He said, somebody asked him if the Apache and Mexicans were friendly, and he said, "In their way," which is a very good way, because they became very close with the Mexican and Apache that they lived amongst, and John and Jim actually started learning to speak Spanish and Apache, and Ma'am Jones said that they actually spoke those two languages more than English. They were really very accepting of the local culture, and they were
That's awesome, man.
it really was. And around this time, I forgot to mention this. The story is this book is so good. There's so much in this book. I forgot to mention that when they moved to Picacho, John, the eldest son, who was about 17 at the time, said he didn't want to move with them. He wanted to stay in Hondo and raise his cattle. And he did. So John kept the house in Hondo. The rest of the family went to Picacho. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I guess the next what?
I said they're living Um, it reminds me of last week when we had to venture out to Phoenix.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is exactly what it's like. But let me look at this. Yeah, so John stayed, and the rest of the family went to Picacho. And we also find out about this time that Migo's real name was Magoosh. And
Ooh.
so Magoosh stayed around for years. He stayed in Hondo with John, and they were good friends there. And they just had a good life. And it was around this time, Magoosh, Magoosh, Magoosh.
That's how
And
it sounds.
around this time, John was out. He wasn't really a hunter. John didn't like hunting. Jim liked hunting. John wasn't a big fan, and he was out. I think they were just out wandering around, and they found a little, a young boy who didn't speak any English, and John kind of brought him to his house in Hondo and like gave him a place to stay. And eventually, John would go visit Mam and his brothers and go see them frequently. And one time he brought this boy with him, and they were like, "Who's this guy?" And they were like, "I found him. He doesn't speak English. He was hiding in the bush out there." And uh, very strange.
Anyang.
But basically, and then so John kind of convinces Mam to like look after this kid because he was, abandoned out there. They don't know exactly where he came from or what's going on. He just kind of arrived, and they ended up. He ended up staying there, and I'm forgetting his name. His name. Hang on. I know.
Bad Jones.
I know.
Eddie.
Okay, I can't find the boy's name. But anyway, the important part is he ends up staying with Mam Jones and everything, and that's where she got her name. This boy was copying, he would copy John all the time. And John called his mother Mam, so this boy thought that that was her name, and he started calling her Mam. And she eventually ends up basically raising this kid, and he always calls her Mam, and then everybody around starts calling her Mam as well. That becomes her name. That's her official title. What?
Ma'am.
Oh yeah, Mam. And gosh, I'm losing my mind trying to figure out what this kid's name was. Oh, Hart. His name was Hart. Hart. Or at least that's what they called him. They eventually found out that he was with some, he was a white boy. He was with his family, and his family was attacked by the Mescalero Apache, and they were coming through in a covered wagon, and they attacked his family, and then they took Hart back to their village, and they raised him. He was raised by Apache women of the tribe. They all pitched in and helped raise this young boy, and that's why he didn't speak English. He had no memory of ever being around his actual parents. But Hart became a Jones. He was in the family. And he was really attached to John, so he was mad when John left and went back to Hondo, where he was living, and didn't stay in Picacho. But whatever, that happens. Oh my gosh, okay. I see the time. There's so much to this story that it is really impossible to condense all of it. But I would say that the next big event that needs to be talked about is that at one point the family moved. High school got work.
Part says part two.
I know.
Oops.
High school got some work near Lincoln. You know, Lincoln, New
Yes.
Mexico. Yes. So they moved there. They're upgrading. This is their, their new home, and it's an upgrade, and it's a new place. Beautiful stuff. New family. I mean, not new family, but new friends, new community, and things like this. They were a bit outside of it, but eventually, well, I'm gonna get to this part first. One day, Jim and his Apache friends, they invite Jim to go on a hunt with them, and so Jim heads out. Ma'am is kind of worried, I think Jim is 16 at this point, so he's still young, but in the 1870s or 80s or whatever, you were a full-grown man at the age of 16. You're elderly, geez, by that point. So Jim is permitted, he's allowed to go on this hunting expedition with his Apache friends, and they follow the Pecos River down. And one of the Apache was a man named Big Mouth, which, cool name, very cool. And Big Mouth says that a little bit further up, there's a big hole in the ground. And that,
Oh.
yeah, you know what that is, right?
Tucum. No. Santa Rosa.
The Carlsbad Caverns, my guy.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
The big hole. Gosh,
My guy.
100%. Come on, we're a Carlsbad-based show, and I've been talking about Picacho and Hondo and Lincoln. We had to get to Carlsbad eventually, right?
I just had this sudden flashback to when Kirby was in Cthulhu
Okay.
and they did a photo shoot at the big hole in Santa Rosa.
I don't know that hole. I haven't spent much time in Santa Rosa.
Oh, yeah. It's not Eddie County, that's for sure.
Exactly. Soy Teresa says, I love me a Kirby photo shoot, 100%. But Big Mouth tells about this big hole in the ground, which was the Carlsbad Caverns, and he said that Jim asks him, "Do you ever go in there? Like, what's going on? What's it like in there?" And Big Mouth says, "No, absolutely not. The only things that come out of the Carlsbad Caverns, or the big hole in the ground, because it wasn't called Carlsbad Caverns yet, the only things that come out of there are the evil ones. And if you go in there, you're not coming out unless you're one of the evil ones." And I thought that was very cool.
And there's multiple entrances to the cave system.
For sure, but I think it was probably the big. I imagine it was the big
one.
The big entrance that we all know
your
and we all love. But
The big leg workout.
absolutely. But yes, Big Mouth says that the only things that come out of there are the evil ones. And I just thought that was very cool, very poetic, because I've come out of there, and I don't think I'm an evil one, but hey, what do I know? Anyway, they're out there, and they,
They're out there.
for sure, they're on their hunting expedition, and they find these mescal plants, and they chop the heads off the mescal plants, and they wrap those heads in mescal leaves, and then they dig a big hole, and they light fire down in the hole on some coals and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then they put those on top of it, wrapped in the leaves, and then they put a bunch of dirt on top of it. They bury it, and they monitor it to wait and see if there's any smoke escaping. And if there is, they put more dirt on top, and they let it go like
Yes.
that for 3 days, and then they finally get it out, and then they cure it in the sun for like another 3 days, and they say it was like the most delicious. That sounds bomb to me. I would love to eat that. But while they were out there doing that and waiting for it to cure in the sun, all of a sudden these antelope started going to the watering hole nearby where they were, and Jim was like, "Oh boy, here we go. This is it. This is our hunt. This is what we're doing." And they told him, "No, just wait." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And they wait, and just more antelope come, and more antelope come. And then finally, when there's enough, Big Mouth and the rest of the Apaches take out their bows and everything, and they fire arrows. And within, a minute, they drop 100 antelope. I think Jim says he counted, and it was 103. Like in a minute,
What?
just dropped them. So I thought that was a pretty cool story.
A bounty.
But meanwhile, back near Lincoln, some people come to Ma'am Jones, and they say that she did a lot of midwifing. There was somebody pregnant, and they sent for Ma'am Jones, and she went, and she helped them deliver the baby. She was the healer, the medicine
Doula?
woman. Yeah, the doula. They called her they didn't call her medicine woman. They called her something
Ma'am
else.
Jones,
No,
medicine woman.
the wise woman. They called her the wise woman. And so she was there. She helped deliver the baby and everything. And they said, this is in Lincoln. And they said that things had been tense lately. And Ma'am Jones was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, or they were like, "Well, it there's a lot of tension in the town because there's a gosh, I didn't plot this out very well, but earlier, years before, John came home, or Ma'am Jones was out doing her healing stuff, and when she came home, Jim had brought over somebody by the name of Marion Turner, and Ma'am comes back in. She was actually out doing another midwifing, delivering a baby, and she was gone for a few days, and she comes home, and Hart takes her bonnet off and puts it on a peg, because he's just a very good boy, was Hart. And Jim is there with his friend Marion Turner, and Marion says, "Nice to meet you, ma'am." And he says, Jim says, oh, she was out helping deliver a baby. And Marion says, was it a bull or a heifer? And Ma'am doesn't respond to him. She just says nothing. She turns away from him. And she later says, I don't like that man. And so Jim kind of sends him on his way. He was kind of banished for offending Ma'am Jones. So this is catching up to where we left off in the story. In Lincoln, they say that the town is very tense. And it turns out what happened was one of the houses, I guess in Picacho, that the Joneses had left, they sold it to one man, and he got very jealous, or somebody else who wanted the house was jealous that they didn't sell it to him, and it kind of caused a feud. This guy was upset for not getting the house, and it started a little beef between him and his family. They were called the Horrell family, and the Horrell family was mad at this Mexican family from Lincoln, and yeah, curtains for Marion, absolutely. That was a great impression. So she hears that there's tension in town. There's these two feuding families, the Horrells and the Tejano family that had received their old house. And they also say, hey, there's a party in town tonight. So, yeah, ma'am goes. She's up there doing her thing. She's healing the people. And, hey, I'm in town. Why don't I go to this party? And she does, and it is shot up. There was the Horrells rode through, and they kind of did like almost drive-by style. They just started shooting on this house where everybody had gathered for this big town-wide party, and it was awful. Jim was there as well, and Ma'am and Jim had to, duck down, and one of the people that got shot, Ma'am went right to work, healing, bandaging up and all of this stuff. And they said, who did this? And they said, oh, it was the Horrells. That's why the town is tense and everything, is because this Horrell family was mad at the Tejano family because they didn't get the property that you had sold. And they were really bad people. Marion Turner, who Ma'am Jones was very...
Horrible Horrells.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Great
are
impression.
Horrells. Absolutely. Marion Turner, of course, was one of the members of the Horrell family. And they were so mad, they kind of declared very racistly war against any Mexican people. And they were open season on killing any Mexican people or people who married Mexican people. And they were just this was kind of the start of the Lincoln County War that Billy the Kid would later become involved in. This is kind of how it all started. And so Jim says, who did this? The Horrells. And somebody says, the Horrells have a camp like not too far away. This is, they've been coming down and just killing random Mexican people and stuff like this. This is where they are. And the man who told him that was a man named Sam. I forget his last name. I need to take better notes for next week. But anyway, that being said, Sam tells them that this is where the Horals hang out. And he said, you know what? I've met a few Horals once, and one time when I introduced myself, we shook hands, and he did the secret Masonic handshake. And so I know that he's a Mason like me. And so Sam sends Jim and some other guy out to meet up with the Horals and take a Masonic ring and a note saying, you know, I know you're a fellow Mason. Why are you doing this? Like, you can't be... by Mason oath, you cannot be attacking me, a fellow Mason. And so, yeah. And that's where I guess we'll end off for this week. I apologize for my kind of getting distracted. This is such a deep story, but yeah, at this point, they're heading out to meet the Horals, and this is where this is
You're too
where
daft, Twitch.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Gosh, yeah, we're over time. We gotta stop here. I'm gonna this book. Oh, you know what? Actually, before we go, how did I forget this? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're telling me that. See, I can't see that, but you were telling me that that is one of your famous ibis photo alterings. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. I can't wait to see. And Cinderoni says that photo is so good. I got so distracted tonight, but I so distracted that I forgot to show Ma'am Jones. So there's one photo. There's the man. Ma'am Jones.
Ma'am.
And there's another photo. It's beautiful. I also have a photo here of high school. That's exactly what I pictured high school looking like. He's probably like
High school.
he's probably like 39 there. People
I love that hat.
for sure. Ooh,
He
yeah.
pictured-
Soicher
Sim-
Subistum has yes, has the main building. Beautiful. And then I did find this searching for pictures of Ma'am Jones using Google image search. And I was able to find out from the URL that apparently this is a meme from the movie Ted. I've never seen that, but
Yeah, I've never seen Ted either.
I mean, I don't want to. It doesn't seem like
Seth MacFarlane, guys.
nah, it don't seem like something I'd be into.
The
Pepito,
croons. All that crooning.
ugh, nasty. No, thank you.
Pepito!
Yeah, do you have anything that you need to get off your chest before we sign off?
Unleash the
tonight?
beast, wasn't it?
Huh?
Well, Soy Teresa in a stagecoach.
Okay, let's see it. Oh, wait. All right, that's her.
Yeah,
Wow,
kicking it.
beautiful.
And then throwback to old school Cayman News, Juan Gamma.
Gamma, yeah, gamma.
All right, that's enough.
Brother Bing says, shout out the Juicy Peach in Carlsbad. 100%.
Yeah,
I thought about making myself
Bink's
a custom.
favorite place.
I thought about making myself a custom Juicy Peach shirt, but I don't know. The stuff I've seen, those ladies look very young. That'd be weird. I'm an elderly man. I can't be repping Juicy Peach. No offense. I'm sure what they make is great. I haven't ventured out. I've been kind of a homebody lately.
Uh-oh.
The owner
It's
has a
copyrighted.
copyright on it. You know what I think about copyrights? I don't believe in them. I don't believe in them at all. I think they're bogus. You know what? We do have to end the show properly. And I have to say the guest invite and lyric of the week. And the lyric of the week is I'm anti-capitalism, bash the system, smash the prison wall, pound till they all come down. That's the lyric of the week. And the guest invite goes out to Pam Greer. Pam Greer, you are officially eligible to come on Caveman News if you ever choose. And as people have speculated, yes, next week, episode 99, we're going to finish talking about Ma'am Jones. I'm going to finish the book. It's difficult for me to read. I have to make it so big on my screen, and it's just a mess. But I'm going to finish the book, and I'm going to take better notes, and it's not going to Pepito's not going to disappear, and it's going to be beautiful. Don't you think?
Yes, Brother Binks loves Pam Greer.
Who did?
Jackie Brown.
She's so bad. Yeah, coffee. That's what I think of. I think of coffee. What a... My gosh. I hope she takes us up on the offer. I would love for her to show up. It would be beautiful. But, Pepito, we really must be closing things out, don't you think?
Let's close it up.
All right. Do you want to say the closing thing? Yeah, I want to hear how you close the show out. I'll just wait and listen.
Hello, everyone. Why don't you join us next week for episode 89 or 99?
Okay.
99.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. You heard the man.
Love to all. Frank.
Goodbye. I'm not afraid of this thing. Let her go.
Plans to return to New Mexico. Plans to return to New Plans to return to New Mexico.